What's up everyone, Stella Chung here, and we are outside of the Hoyoverse booth at Gamescom, and I just got to play Zenless Zone Zero, and it is fun. It is going to be really dangerous because I actually really like this game, and there's so many different elements to it that will definitely keep you playing for a while. So first of all, let's go into the combat because I am definitely more into action games, and this is that. It's definitely a hack and slash, and I loved that they brought in this sort of approachable way that new players could come in and just kind of slash their way around and kind of figure things out, right? Stumble around, you know, spam the same button over and over, but it's really easy to learn combinations, and it's actually pretty challenging for returning players as well, so they really wanted to make sure that it catered to two different audiences, and I think they did a great job of that. I have never played a Hoyoverse game before, so for me playing that, I was a little bit confused, but everything was really easy to learn. The tutorial was great. It's my first hands-on for this game as well, and it was from their closed beta before, so it's not the current build, but it is the build before. So I did get to play some of that. Some of the characters are really cool. There was a cat girl with two tails. I know, weird, but she was really powerful. She was much faster than the polar bear that I got to play as well. So that was really interesting. And there's a whole other mechanic and whole other playstyle too. So Zenless Zone Zero's story focuses on this world plagued by these natural disasters called hollows, and they create these different dimensions. So your proxy kind of goes in to fight these monsters called ethereals. So they're plagued by different ethers, and it's people who get turned and stuff. It's really interesting. So what I really liked about the combat as well is that you kind of get graded at the end of each level. So I got S tier, of course, but it was also tutorial level, so you know I shouldn't brag too much, but it's really cool because you get to see immediate feedback on how much damage you're doing, and then at the end of the level or a boss fight you get to see your tier, and it's really cool. It kind of makes you want to replay it and get a better score. So also with this, not only with combat, there's also this sort of life sim area where you can go around. It's called the city. You can walk around, you can talk to vendors, you can talk to people, and it's really cool because you get to interact with this world. You go into a little city in Tokyo, and it's really cool. You get to hear people talking to each other. You get to see these cute little bunny characters that are offering you shop items, and there's also a really cool ramen guy who says, I make the best ramen around town. So it's really cool. Also, you have to manage a shop where you sell VHS tapes, and you have to cater to different people who come in and want to buy different movies. So it's really cool, and that's how you get in-game currency as well. So not only is there an extremely cool fighting sequence that you can constantly go into and play, but there's also that sort of shopkeeping mechanic, which is definitely the reason why I'm going to be playing for a long time. So unfortunately, I didn't get to experience the gacha mechanics in here, but I'm assuming it's going to be very similar to Genshin or Honkai Star Rail, where you pull different characters and weapons. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see that, but there was a super funny line when I was running around in the city, and there was actually a gacha machine there, and the main character said, oh, my brother makes fun of me for liking gacha games, and I'm like, it's a little on the nose there. So Zenless Zone Zero has a really cool art style. It's kind of cel-shaded, but it also definitely looks like Genshin, but kind of set in an urban space. Not quite modern times because it doesn't really have a timeline associated with it, but it's really cool because it does feel like you're in this whole new world. It feels like you're walking through an anime, and I really like that because it feels like a slice of life anime when you're walking around through the city, and then it also makes you feel like you're in a badass monster slaying anime when you're fighting these ether creatures, and it's really cool. I really liked it. So the art style is definitely really cool. The shadow work is actually very good, and the different sorts of animation styles when you have different fighting combos, it's really cool. So I don't know, I found myself getting really surprised by this because I don't usually like games like this, but I will totally play the hell out of this. I mentioned previously that I played as a cat girl with two tails, and she's definitely super fast. I loved her build. She was really easy to evade monster attacks with, but I did also make a whole team of animal characters, I guess. So I had the cat girl. I also had a bear that definitely did the heaviest attacks, right? Like he's kind of like a tank. So his attacks were much slower. He was slower to evade. So it's really cool to be able to interact with these two different characters that had very opposite features. Then I actually played as a wolf as well. There was a wolf character, and he was kind of in between. He was a medium melee character, which is really cool. And then for the main characters, you have a sniper, you have someone who's very good at using his two handguns, and then you have another person who's really good at melee. So it was really cool to have someone sort of back up and be able to do damage from afar and then finish up by switching characters to the girl who's very good at like slashing up close. And I really liked that for boss fights. I think that was very helpful because sometimes I could not get some of those dodge timings down right, so just being able to be a little bit further away and shooting was the way to go. Unfortunately, I don't have a release date for you for Zenless Zone Zero, but you can play it if you're here at Gamescom, so you can come to the Hoyoverse booth and fight me for a place in line because I'm gonna go play it again. But in the meantime, be sure to keep it right here at IGN for all of your news and updates on everything Hoyoverse.